Hey, what's up, guys? Here on the Fire Sports Pod, where everything we got is hot. I'm your host, Zack Jackson, and let's get right to another show I have for you guys today here on Season 4, Episode number 24, here on this Wednesday afternoon. How you guys all doing today, man? We're coming to you around 5:27 p.m. We got a packed show for you guys today. We got 3 segments going to be going over. First up, we got to say, and we got to give support out and shout out to the StreamYard. We are powered by StreamYard, where StreamYard makes the dream yard go. So let's get right into it. We got 3 segments. One's going to be with the MLB. The other 2 are going to be in the NFL. First up, Jazz Chisholm Jr., our new acquisition. Injury update. Yankees deadline pickup lands on an IL with a UCL injury, former top prospect up. So Monday night was a very bad night for the New York Yankees. Not just because we lost and got demolished by the worst team in the MLB in the Chicago White Sox, losing 12-2, but we also, our trade deadline accusation, one of our proudest moves that we've done in a long time, exited the game in the 7th inning with a left elbow injury. The team announced he has a UCL injury and was placed on the injured list Wednesday. Now, will probably have a better idea after all the doctors weigh in over the next 24 hours or so, Yankees manager Aaron Boone has said on Tuesday via MLBnetwork.com. He's bummed out because he wanted to be in the lineup today. He woke up today feeling like, I'm playing today. Let's see what we have, and hopefully it's not something that's too long. So they placed him on the 10-day IL list, so we'll see what happens in the future with Jazz. But it just sucks because he was on a really good roll with the Yankees, and that's why I'm wearing the Yankees, not just because they're playing tonight, just also to give support out. I hope Jazz Chisholm gets back relatively soon because he was a great spark in the lineup, especially with Stan just coming back and getting into the swing of things. Soto had a 3-night home run for the first time in his career last night. And we still got Judge, the guy that's most likely going to win MVP without a doubt, unless he has a big knockoff in the last 40 games or so. But, man, it just sucks. I really think Jazz is going to be a great player for us down the stretch, especially on an MLB run for the World Series this year, where we really weren't expected to do much. I mean, we added Juan Soto, but I really wasn't expecting a lot. They have really surprised me. We went on a little bit of a losing streak, and we were really bad on a good 35 games or so. But we've gotten away from it. We turned the corner, I believe, and we're rolling. So we won last night 4-1 off of 3 home runs. Literally all our runs were by Juan Soto. He had a 2-run homer in the 3rd. He had a single in the 5th home run, 7th home run. Hit a 3rd home run in the 7th inning. Man's a beast. He's got numbers for an MVP candidate season as well. But just the loss of Jazz does hurt. Now, the UCL is Tommy John surgery ligament, and further testing will determine whether Chisholm needs surgery. It has said that he doesn't really need surgery. He just placed on the 10-day IL. He suffered the injury sliding into home plate in the 5th inning Monday. Chisholm slid in under White Sox catcher Corey Lee and stretched to touch home plate before the tag was applied, and then you saw him in the dugout, kind of like whipping around, trying to get his UCL or his shoulder back into some movement, and he just so uncomfortable. And then after that, he kind of went down into the dugout, and they kind of announced that he's not coming back. Like I said, it just sucks because I know how much he wanted to be out there for his team, but on the contrary, we still have 40-something more games. We're only, I believe, 70. We're only 71. We are 71-50. So if that we got 162. So if I do the math correctly, 71 plus 50, we're at 121. So we still have 41 more games to play in the MLB season. It feels like the MLB season has been going on forever. And that's what happens when you get 162 games. But that's what's great about it is that you can really be a bad team for the first 120 games. And you could be like a 500 team. And then you can ride off like a big win streak of 30 wins, 10 losses, and be like 80, 85, 90, and 50. And you have a shot of making the playoffs. So that's what's great about the MLB. You still have a shot no matter where you're at. Obviously, if you get down to 10 games left and you're really bad, obviously you're not coming back. The White Sox are not going to be able to come back. They will just probably get to 500 by the time the end of the season, depending on how well they do. But we had a bad loss the first game. We lost 12-2. We're one of the worst teams in the MLB and the White Sox. That cannot happen again. This is what the Yankees do, though. They beat a good team in the Texas Rangers. They were defending champs. They still got a good team. They're just rude of injuries. And then what happens is you get him you win against those teams, right? You win against those good teams. You get good against those good teams. But then we drop a game against the White Sox that we should ultimately just demolish them out of the water. And that's what sucks sometimes with the Yankees. We're very inconsistent when it comes to worse teams than us. We really don't come to play all the time to get through and beat those teams like we should. That should be a sweep. Like we won last night 4-1. It should be a sweep. It shouldn't be that we win a series. We should just win every game against that type of team. But yeah, other than that, guys, that's pretty much it for the MLB with the Yankees and Jazz Chisholm. We're gonna take a short break here, and we're gonna move on to some NFL news. All right, guys, we are back, and we are moving into our second segment here on the Fire Sports Pod, where everything we got is hot. I'm your host, Zack Jackson. Let's get right to the second segment. We're going to be going over some NFL news, and first up, we got to go over Brandon Aiyuk, and it looks like he's going to Pittsburgh. Nothing has been said, settled, and set in stone, but it does look like he's heading to Pittsburgh. Now, Brandon Aiyuk's crazy contract saga might be coming to an end. The Pittsburgh Steelers have a deal on a potential trade for the 49ers wide receiver. According to NFL Network, Pittsburgh is also in a good place when it comes to a possible long-term extension deal for Brandon Aiyuk if the 49ers sign off on the trade, per the report. Now, the report also stated that the 49ers have sent Aiyuk a long-term contract offer, but he has not accepted it at this time. The two sides simply have not been able to find common ground on an extension despite months of trying since the end of the playoffs. If the trade goes down, it would signal the end of one of the NFL's biggest offseason storylines. Now, Aiyuk, who is 26 years old, has made it clear that he did not want to play in the 2024 season under the franchise tag. He doesn't deserve it. He's a big-time talent. He's one of the top wide receivers in the NFL. He requested a trade once it became clear to him that he could not be a possibility. Aiyuk pushed the issue of a possible trade by not practicing and publicly stating that he wants to play for either the Commanders or the Steelers. Now, Brandon Aiyuk last year has 105 targets, 75 receptions, 1,342 yards, 7 receiving touchdowns. It's not a bad stat line. Not a bad stat line. Now, the 49ers have reportedly listened to outside offers for Aiyuk in a potential trade, including one from the Patriots that would have made Aiyuk one of the NFL's highest paid wide receivers. But Aiyuk apparently didn't want to go to New England. The Browns also reportedly made the 49ers an offer that went nowhere. Well, I wouldn't want to go to the Patriots. You got a rookie quarterback there. You don't know how everything's going to pan out. No Bill Belichick. You really don't know how anything's going to pan out. Yeah, you want all the money, but you also want to win, right? That's the question a lot of people have to ask everybody. Do they want to win or they just want the money? Now, Pittsburgh has constantly been linked to reporters regarding Aiyuk dating to the NFL draft when the Steelers were reportedly trying to acquire either Aiyuk or fellow 49ers wideout Deebo Samuel. Nothing came to fruition then. However, it was reported that Pittsburgh was unable to meet the 49ers' request in a possible trade. Like back then, the Steelers reportedly weren't able to meet the 49ers' trade request in recent days, but that could change if the 49ers accept what is currently on the trade. If he comes to Pittsburgh, Aiyuk would join a rebuilt offense that includes quarterbacks Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, running backs Najee Harris, Jaylen Warren, and number 1 wideout George Pickens. The Steelers have been trying to find a complement to Pickens since trading Deontay Johnson to Carolina in exchange for cornerback Dante Jackson earlier this offseason. Pittsburgh likes what it has seen out of Van Jefferson, another free agent acquisition who helped the Rams win a Super Bowl back when they played against Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals 3 years ago. But despite Jefferson's promising start, the Steelers are still looking for an apparent option to pursue Aiyuk, because you pair Aiyuk with Pickens, that is going to be a monster duo, because if you double one, one's going to be one-on-one. So you got to pick your poison. Now, the Steelers are still apparently pursuing Aiyuk, a talented receiver who would significantly increase their odds of making a deep playoff run if they are able to acquire him. Now, we'll see if this comes about, if this is true. I think the Steelers will really benefit from this. 150%. I think the 49ers will screw themselves if they let Brandon Aiyuk go. I think Brandon Aiyuk complements them perfect in their offense that helps out Deebo Samuel, helps out George Kittle, helps out Christian McCaffrey, helps out big-time Brock Purdy because he doesn't have to rely on everybody else. He can go to another option. Those guys right there, you can't guard all of them at the same time. You got to pick your poison, and most of them will try to guard George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, and keep Christian McCaffrey on there. Okay, then you're one-on-one with Brandon Aiyuk, and we've seen it before. Not a lot of people could stay in front of Brandon Aiyuk. Brandon Aiyuk is a great wide receiver. He's going to be one of the best in the league. I think he is one of them right now. So that's going off of CBS Sports. Now we have another apparent news. Guys, it does look like JJ McCarthy. Now I'm going to do TikToks about this, guys, and everything on the Fire Sports Pod _ 2.0. So don't worry about it. I'm not even going to go into it. It just was reported today, yesterday at 1:44 p.m. with JJ McCarthy undergoing knee surgery. Sam Darnold will probably start in week 1, but what if he falters? But they did confirm that Vikings rookie quarterback JJ McCarthy needs a full repair of his torn meniscus and will be sidelined for the entire season. So any type of shot of him starting, he was promising in his first preseason game, threw 2 touchdowns, great ball placement, had that 1 interception early, perfect after that, was going great. And he tears his meniscus, I believe, in that game or practice, whatever the case was. And now he's officially out as any type of quarterback play this season. So it looks like Sam Darnold's the starter. The problem is, will he falter? That, for me, is what's the problem with Minnesota. I think Minnesota has a good enough team to make it far to get at least to the playoffs and maybe win the first round. But without a significant quarterback, I think J.J. McCarthy's perfect for Minnesota. You have the high-flying offensive guy in Justin Jefferson's where he had it, where he kind of missed that number 1 big-time guy in Michigan. You have that. You have your T.J. Hawkinson in your tight end. You have your running backs. You have a good enough defense to play. And the fact that now he's out for the season sucks, but next year will be the year we see J.J. McCarthy most definitely as the starter. Most definitely. I think he was going to start week 1. I think he was. With that performance in the preseason game, I think he was. But now it's up to Sam Darnold, and we've seen when he was a starter, he's not the best. Another news coming out of Minnesota: Vikings wide receiver Jordan Addison carted off the field on practice. He hurts his ankle during a joint practice, but the team believes he avoided a serious injury. So, well, you just lost J.J. McCarthy for the season. Let's hope that you don't lose Jordan Addison for the season, because then Justin Jefferson's got to have no help. Because Jordan Addison is the opposite side. So if they don't have him, then there's going to be no help for Justin Jefferson. So those are 2 news from the NFL coming from the Minnesota Vikings. A little snippet. You had Mark Andrews got into an accident earlier today, but he did not sustain any apparent injuries from a Wednesday morning accident. So everything's good with him, most likely. So that's a little NFL news for you guys. And that's pretty much it, guys, for our second segment here on the Fire Sports Pod, where everything we got is hot. Again, our first segment, we went over Jazz Chisholm Jr. getting injured with a UCL injury for the Yankees and how that might affect them going forward, and see how long he's out for. And then we transitioned to our second segment, going over the Brandon Aiyuk Steelers trade. Looks like it's going to go through in the next couple of days or so. And then we gave you some news on J.J. McCarthy getting injured with the torn meniscus for the year. And then now Jordan Addison has an injury. Let's hope that he didn't do a serious injury for Minnesota fans. And then Mark Andrews got into a car accident, but everything was good. So that's the recap of what we went over. We're going to take a short break. We're going to go into our third segment. We're currently 14 minutes and 16 seconds into our show. We're going to go into our third and final segment on today's show here on Season 4, Episode number 24, powered by StreamYard. Hey, what's up, guys? Now we are back, and like we never left, we're going into our third and final segment on our today's show here on the Fire Sports Pod. Again, we are powered by StreamYard. We're going to be going over another NFL story, but it has nothing to do with anybody active. It has something to do with a quarterback that hasn't played since 2016. His name is Colin Kaepernick. You should guys know him of the infamous person that started the kneeling of the national anthem. And due to that, he was kicked out of the NFL, basically. Nobody wants him. Nobody wanted to give him a shot. He's still trying to pursue a quarterback position even at his 36-year-old age. This man hasn't played in freaking 8 years, and he still wants a shot. I commend him for his efforts, and I commend him for his work ethic. But man, dude, you might have to just stop, bro. He hasn't played in 7 years. It has been over 7 years since quarterback Colin Kaepernick took a snap in the NFL, but that hasn't changed his mind about a potential comeback. Recently, the 36-year-old told Sky Sports that he's still hoping for a return to the league. We're still training, we're still pushing. Kaepernick said when asked if he will see him in the NFL again, so hopefully we've just got to get one of those teams' owners to open up. Kaepernick was then asked what it would mean for him to play in the NFL again. I mean, it's something I've trained for my entire life, Kaepernick said. So to be able to step back on the field, I think that would be a major moment, a major accomplishment for me. Also, I think it's something that I could bring to a team and help them win a championship. Kaepernick had a workout with the Las Vegas Raiders in May of 2022, which came after a very public workout at halftime of Michigan's spring game, where he threw in front of the Wolverines fans and his former head coach, Jim Harbaugh. The workout was broadcasted live on the Big Ten Network. Now, former second-round pick of the San Francisco 49ers went 12-4 in his first full season as a starter back in 2013 and led the 49ers to the Super Bowl, where they fell to the Baltimore Ravens. Kaepernick set an NFL postseason record that year by rushing for 181 yards and 2 touchdowns in the division round victory against the Green Bay Packers. I remember that, man. I remember they were on like a 10-yard line. He did a QB sneak to the right and went all the way to the touchdown, like 93 yards. The 49ers struggled in Kaepernick's final 3 seasons, and he lost 10 out of his final 11 starts with the team. Overall, Kaepernick went 28-30 as a starter during his time in San Francisco, throwing 72 touchdowns compared to 30 interceptions in 69 career games played. Even though he has a bad record or winning percentage, you also got to factor in that he wasn't really on the field as much. He was dealing with all the distractions out off the field by kneeling with the national anthem, all the media, all the press, all the people talking all that crap about him, all the owners and everything, him coming back and not coming back for a couple games of the year, and then not coming back for a couple games of the year. So you got to give him some credit. I like the work ethic. I hope he's able to get back into the NFL. Nice to see somebody come back from all that scrutiny, all that all the people doubting him, and he came back and proved everybody wrong. That would be great, I think, for everybody, just to see that no matter what happens, you could still work through it. But man, 36 years old, dude, you haven't played in 8 years. That's tough to come out of nowhere, out of not retirement, out of not playing for that long, and then come right back into the speed of the game. It's much faster. I think it's all the players are more skilled. The defensive players are just getting faster and faster as the years go by. It's definitely a lot softer than when he played back in 2013, but still, the game, I think, is a lot better. Other than the softness, I think it's a lot better skill-wise, player-wise, I think development-wise as well. But other than that, we will move from what we were just talking about with the 49ers and Colin Kaepernick, and we'll go to another story that we have to get into, which is actually going over we have to go over more news from Colin Kaepernick because his coach, Jim Harbaugh, said something about it. Chargers coach Jim Harbaugh spoke to Colin Kaepernick about joining the coaching staff. He'd be a tremendous coach. So there's something there that you might be looking for. Now, Jim Harbaugh back in the NFL once again as he landed with the Los Angeles Chargers head coaching job this offseason. But before leaving the professional ranks for the University of Michigan, he found success as the head coach of the San Francisco 49ers, going 44-19-1 as lead man, which includes a Super Bowl appearance against his brother John Harbaugh. Colin Kaepernick quarterback for the 49ers team, and Harbaugh was angling for a type of reunion this year. In a recent interview with USA Today Sports, Jim Harbaugh said he reached out to Kaepernick earlier in the year about potentially joining his coaching staff. However, months later, there hasn't been any movement in the former signal caller joining his former coach. We talked a little bit about it. Harbaugh said he's considering it. He was out of the country. So he said he was going to get back to me. We haven't reconnected since then. That was early in the year. Harbaugh and Kaepernick was one of the favorite players that he ever coached. And if he were to one day coach football, he would be great at it. If that was ever a path he was going to take, I think that would be tremendous. Harbaugh said he'd be a tremendous coach if that's the path he chose. Now, while he is now 36 years old, Kaepernick hasn't given up on his dream of returning to NFL ranks as a player. He's recently told Sky Sports that he's still waiting for an opportunity. When asked what it would mean to him to play in the league, we already went over that. So you just see that he still has the drive to play in the NFL, and you can't question a man's drive, a man's grit, a man's want. But you can't question if it's actually logical, if it's actually legit. Does it make sense to go through all the process when you're 36 years old and haven't played physical football in over 7 years? So you never know what could happen. He could get hit once and something drastic happens. So you never want to even try to chance that. Obviously, I'm not Colin Kaepernick. I'm not his family. I'm not a girlfriend. I'm not a wife. I'm not a brother. I'm not a father. I'm not a son. Whatever the case is, I'm not his family, so I really don't know. But based off of what I know from football-wise, if you're going to go from not playing for 7 years, a violent sport like football, and then 7 years later, at 36, you were 29 the last time you played. You're 36 now, about to be 37. I mean, Tom Brady played to 45, but Tom Brady was a different breed. That man was a monster. That man was a different type of guy, different ultra competitor. He was the ultimate guy. That's why he's the best quarterback to ever walk this planet. No matter how I view Tom Brady, you always got to respect him. But Tom Brady never ran. He never wanted to run the ball. He never put his body on the line for running the ball. So Colin Kaepernick did that, and he still was doing that when he went off the NFL. So I'm assuming he's still going to do that. He's not a pocket guy. He's definitely a scrambler. He's definitely a moving around the pocket type of dude. So you never know what's going to happen. I just don't want, like, all right, they give him a shot, and then he gets injured, and he's out, and then something severely happens, and then he can't even do nothing. And that sometimes happens. You rush things back. You haven't played in a while. Obviously, you're going to go through training. Obviously, you're going to go through OTAs. Obviously, you're going to go through all through practices and whatever, but they don't touch the quarterbacks in practice. You don't know. You're not going to know how a hit feels until you actually get hit in the game. And that's the scary part because he's not used to it. But yeah, all in all, guys, Colin Kaepernick, for our final segment, is looking at a comeback still. They were trying to maybe get him as a coaching staff for Jim Harbaugh. They haven't spoken in a while, so it looks like that might not even be happening. But other than that, guys, that is pretty much it for my show here on the Fire Sports Pod, where everything we got is hot. I'm your host, Zack Jackson. Again, powered by StreamYard, where StreamYard makes the dream yard go. Guys, check out my TikTok on the Fire Sports Pod _2.0. Go check that out. We got banned, like I said earlier in the week. So we started something new, started something it up again. Like always, I say, guys, never give up on your dreams. Keep pushing forward. Let no one tell you and let no one knock you off of what you're trying to do for your life. That's what I'm doing right now. But other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Wednesday afternoon. I will see you guys on Friday. That post will be posted at 5 a.m. in the morning. I'm going to do a recording tomorrow with my boy Maurice and Maurice Jenkins. He was just on the NBC Sports for the behind the scenes, the camera work and all that stuff for the Paris Olympics here with the NBC Sports. So he's going to be jumping on. We're going to be talking about how all that happened. And we're going to be talking some sports. So stay tuned to that. That will be posted on Friday. For season 4, episode number 25. That will be posted on Friday at 5 a.m. So go check that out. Other than that, guys, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys on Friday. Catch you guys later. Peace out. I'm your host, Zack Jackson, and I'll catch you guys then.